Welcome to Health Intentionally, where awareness, empowerment, and resilience meet. We're going to take some deep dives into some deep topics. So I hope you're ready to have a swim. Let's dive on in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Health Intentionally. I'm your host, Kirsten DeWitt, and today we're going to talk about the missing link between change and goal setting. Now, I have been on a mission of deconstructing change, motivation, and human behavior in order to better help my clients. And what I have found in these many years of studying this very thing is a few underlying themes and patterns. One of them is this: change begins with understanding and awareness. Hence my first principle in the Health Intentionally model, which is awareness. In this model, the word awareness encompasses understanding, reflection, consciousness, perspective, mindset, acceptance, learning, honesty, and more. Which is why during this episode, we're going to cover how gaining awareness and understanding for ourselves, for where we've been, for what has gotten in our way in the past, can help us to better achieve our goals and make lasting change. We're also going to cover a wide range of questions that can help us begin the process of deeper understanding. And to get us started, I'm going to talk about 2 areas where awareness and understanding help us to get on the right track and stay on track. So what do I mean by getting on the right track? I mean making sure that the goal that you are setting or the change that you are bringing about is in line with who you truly are and where you truly want to go. But how do we know this? It takes understanding ourselves. It takes knowing the external influences that impact the ideas that we have, the beliefs that we have of who we should be, what we should be doing, and where we should be going. Once we take a moment to understand who we are and those external factors, then we can better determine what is our goal versus what society tells us our goal should be, or our parents, or our boss, or whatever it may be that is influencing goals that we set and the changes that we strive to make. Now, the reason this step is so important is because if we're striving to achieve a goal that's not truly ours, we begin to make excuses, we begin to find reasons for not achieving it, and we beat ourselves up about not being good enough, when in reality, it's just not something that we truly believe is right for us. It's not something that aligns with our core values, or it's not something that we find worth the struggles and the lows and the valleys that inevitably come with change and getting out of our comfort zone. If it's not something that we're doing for the right reason, then sure, we may get along for a while, but eventually, when the going gets tough, we're not going to be willing to stick it out. We're not going to be willing to do the tough things to get through it. Because for us, the why isn't strong enough. It isn't there. It isn't at the root and the depths of who we are. And again, just to reiterate and re-emphasize, it takes knowing who we are in order to recognize that this goal is not for us. It also takes being honest with ourselves. It takes understanding our circumstances, our environment, our upbringing, and all of the various factors that impact who we are and who we've become. It takes asking ourselves the tough questions. Who am I making this change for? Am I changing for myself? Is this who I really am? Is this who I really want to become? Is this what I really want to be doing? Now here is where the second part comes in, because the first aspect is making sure that the goal and the change is right for you, aka getting on the right track. And the second part is staying on the right track, which takes another aspect of awareness and understanding. Because if it's something that we truly want and we know is in alignment with who we are or where we want to go, then the next goal is figuring out what obstacles have been getting in our way of getting there. What triggers have set us back? What roadblocks have we run into in the past that we can plan ahead and prevent from happening again? This is going to feel a lot different than a goal that is just simply not meant for us. This is going to feel like an old habit, like an old pattern, like an old cycle, or comfortability. This is going to feel like we're stuck, like we want to keep going, but our comfort zone is way back there and our overwhelm is way up there. It's going to feel like old habits creeping back in and fear taking hold. But the good news is that with awareness and understanding, we can break these cycles and prevent these roadblocks from getting in our way over and over again. Now, this again involves asking ourselves some deeper questions. It involves asking ourselves, what got in the way? What was the obstacle when I did this before? How can I prevent that? Was there a trigger? What was that trigger? And what did it feel like? Did thoughts follow this feeling? What were those thoughts? Where did those thoughts lead? Have I felt that before? When? What brought it on? What were the thoughts that followed that? What can I do differently? Now, this is where the change really happens, because until we recognize and acknowledge these cycles that we go through, these forms of sabotaging ourselves, negative thoughts that flood our mind, we'll continue to allow these things to stand between us and the goals and changes that we strive to make. Now, I don't necessarily believe that this is something you should be doing on your own. And that's because it can be overwhelming to begin to uncover these things about ourselves that we don't always want to look at. So I encourage you to reach out for help, to seek a counselor, find a therapist, get a coach, someone to help guide you through this process and to help you along the way. Because trust me, it is a process. It is not an overnight quick fix solution. It is something that you will continue to learn how to do through time and practice. But I do hope that this started to get the wheels turning so that you can get on the right track and stay on track. All right, everyone, that's enough from me. It's time for you to take what you've heard and put it to practice. You've been listening to the Health Intentionally podcast. Cheers to your journey to health intentionally.